going on, guys? Welcome back. Third episode of Spreading the Floor. My name's Jacob Koopman.
My name is Nigel Fernandez.
It's a great day today. Yesterday was rainy, terrible.
That's right.
Today's good, though. You know, we got our the one class, and then we're chilling, and then here we are. A lot to talk about. I guess we could start with the Clippers.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard, day-to-day. Paul George, out till November.
November-ish.
November-ish.
Was a quote that they actually used.
November-ish. That's never a good thing.
That's never
a good thing. It's like, oh, yeah, no, he's going to be out till November.
Right.
Ish. So their depth at both those positions, not looking too good. I'm not going to lie. You know, JaMychal Green, Morris Harkless, Roddy McGruder.
That's right.
I don't think those guys are really buckets.
Well, what we're looking at is we're basically looking at a Clippers team from last year.
Right.
You know, minus the additions of Paul George and Kawhi.
And that's a bad thing. That's not a good
thing. They did all right last year.
They did all right, but
you're right. You're losing their biggest assets.
You're taking a step back in a conference that has taken a shit ton of steps forward.
Right. We're talking about, this is comparable to if the Lakers lost LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Right, yeah. I mean, I don't think they're going to be – they just got to hold out till November. They got to keep a positive record.
Yeah. And Kawhi's day-to-day, he's not going to be out till November, so he'll be back.
They're resting him, they said.
Yeah.
That's what I read. So
which is for the best. They don't need – the Clippers – arguably probably have the best team in the NBA, if not top three.
With Kawhi and
both. Yeah, so
Kawhi
I don't
George.
think they're worried. Once they have both of them on the floor, the wins are going to come naturally. They're not going to have to worry about that.
They just got to kind of be on cruise control until that happens.
They got to find some rhythm. They got to get their focus, and then they should be all right.
With Kawhi Leonard day to day, that usually means they'll play him. Maybe they'll put him on like a load management plan, like they're doing with what's his name, with Joel Embiid. But
right,
I think with just Kawhi there, the Clips, they have Pat Bev, they have Sneaky Lou.
That's right.
Not going to be the worst thing in the world. Paul George, definitely, if not defensively, because they already have so much rich depth at, defense.
Yeah, we're talking about the Clippers. We're talking about,
defense central.
Patrick Beverly and all that.
Lou Williams got actually considerably good defense, and then you got Kawhi, best, if you talk about him and Paul George, two of the best wing defenders right now.
Absolutely.
Definitely top three with Clay. Defensively, you're fine if you're the Clippers. If I'm the Clippers, management, I'm saying, look, we're fine defensively. Offensively, I think we could both agree, is where you're like,
That's where they're in trouble right now.
That's where they're in trouble.
But then again, defense wins championships.
It does.
I don't think they really need to be the first seed in the West to be satisfied. They're gonna make it. They're gonna make it to the Western Conference Finals no matter what.
It's all hinging on whether or not Paul George.
If they can stay
back
healthy throughout the season,
right?
As long as they come back and they play some good basketball, the Clippers should be in no trouble at all.
Well, I also think it's important to mention when you talk about clutch, right?
Yeah.
A guy that you want taking the final shot, as what's his name on First Take would say, fate of the universe on the line. Who do I want taking the final shot? It's going to be Paul George.
Paul George, really?
Or,
I would say Kawhi.
You could go to Kawhi, but last year from IOKC, Paul George hit something like 7 clutch shots.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He was hitting those he was popping Tic Tacs.
But that was he's not known for that, but last year he did, you're right, he did do the good job doing that. But Kawhi, during the playoffs.
Kawhi was pretty clutch as well.
Kawhi, they had that, he sent Philly home on that bounce around.
Made Embiid cry.
That's right. We made a grown African man cry.
A 7-foot man.
Yeah.
I think they'll be all right. I think it hinges on whether or not, like I said, if Paul George can get back in time, I think it'll be all right. Paul George can get back by November when they say he will. They should be all right. They should be okay with the options they have before him, and then if he gets back come playoff time, which is looking like he might, they won't be in a bad position at all.
They're gonna get their W's just off pure athleticism and good core.
Yeah.
As long as they're all there.
If you look at what you need in a team, the Clippers got it.
Absolutely.
You need two. They have the 2 star guys. You would need at least 1 star,
right,
to hold you over if you're talking about a championship team. In my personal opinion. And then you need those guys that are solid role players. Now I'm talking about Pat Bev and Lou Williams. He's starting to break out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And then you add fucking Kawhi Leonard and Paul George to that. Like, what do you know what I mean? They got what they need.
Absolutely.
They can definitely get it done. I don't see any reason why they couldn't.
No, the Clippers are in the right spot. Now about the Warriors.
The Warriors, the other team.
Klay Thompson is supposed to come back after the All-Star break, apparently.
Really?
That is what he is scheduled for. The Warriors said that they're not planning on resting Curry.
Right. They're not putting him on load management.
No,
and then they're keeping D'Lo for the
And they said they wanted to
run.
keep D'Lo, which I agree with, actually. I think if anyone has a chance to kind of uphold the status quo in Golden State after Curry starts getting a little bit slower, it's probably D'Angelo Russell.
I think he's perfect. I think he's good playmaker.
He fits the system.
Yeah, he fits the system. I mean, they run a motion-based offense. Draymond
Absolutely.
Green, setting screens, getting people open.
Right.
And you got a guy like, you stick D'Angelo Russell in there,
Right.
great playmaker, great volume scorer, and you stick him with Curry.
Yeah, he's not going to do anything but add.
Yeah, Curry's got good playmaking. He's got great scoring.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But if you supplement him, I mean, even without Klay, you supplement him with a guy like banging into stuff. You supplement him with a guy like D'Angelo. I mean,
right.
That's going to be insane. They're it's definitely going to be a high volume scoring. And then you got Draymond Green defensively. Defensively, they're
Yeah,
without Klay. But
defensively, they're a little bit, but that's always been their kind of. Clay's a good defender too.
Clay's he's a good wing defender.
Yeah, but that's why the Cavs got the best of them because Kyrie over.
Right.
Curry just couldn't guard Kyrie.
Kyrie's just unstoppable ISO.
Yes, that is true.
But no, I think Clay, or excuse me, not Clay. Draymond anchors the offense or the defense.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of Curry, he's not really a good defender. Same with D'Angelo. I don't think he's really that talented on defense.
They're not known for their defense.
So they're gonna need to rely on their offense, right, until Klay can get back. And then, obviously they'll have two key defensive pieces. But until then, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't just do what the Warriors usually do, which is
right.
Which goes back. I mean, I know in the second episode we were talking about how they're in the kind of the same position. They are kind of in the same position as they were when they were battling out with the Cavs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like Golden State has always been a team that relied on offense, motion offense, and this crazy style that allows them to score, shoot threes at will. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Until Klay gets back.
I think they'll be all right. And then obviously they're not going to be really using Klay as a main, piece when he comes back. He's going to be off injury. He's probably going to have limited minutes. So as long as D'Angelo Russell and Steph Curry can get into, a pattern, a groove, by the time Klay gets back, I think Klay could come in and just, be a spot-up shooter and just contribute on that factor.
Do you think there's going to be any molding issues with chemistry?
I don't think so, only because I just think D'Angelo Russell's going to fit so well,
right?
Into that piece. And actually, if I'm Steve Kerr, I'm during practices, I'm having D'Angelo Russell working with Draymond. Maybe he could teach him a thing or two on the defensive side of things because D'Lo is still young as well. He's like, what are they, 26, something like that?
Something like that. All right, guys, welcome back. We're having some difficulty with the camera, but I guess we can get right back on focus.
Sure.
So, Steven Adams to the Sacramento Kings. Do you think this is a good trade?
Steven Adams to the Sacramento Kings. The reason I think that it's a difficult thing to address is it is a very large contract for a very large period of time.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Steven Adams, not necessarily a young guy anymore, not really a great investment.
Right.
If you're looking at young players, if you're looking at a team that you want to grow. The only reason I see it work for Sacramento is because of their lack in that position right now because of injury, like you said before.
First two options, yeah.
Right, and I just think besides that, I don't see why they would, any team would really go for Steven Adams. What do you think?
I think it's an albatross contract, so $53 million for 4 years. I do agree with you. Guys on the back, he's coming off the back end of his prime.
Right.
He's, he'll give you 20 a game. He has some fringe all-star appearances, whether or not that's due to Westbrook. I think an argument could be made that it's
great rebounder, great defender as well,
great defender, great scorer even. You know what I mean? But
good sidekick.
Good sidekick, right? I think I'm gonna go against the grain here. I think Sacramento could use him. They got a young team, but they don't really have any. And I know you want to keep that kind of that theme of being young, right?
Right.
Contending in the future. But if you look at their big positions, I mean, they got their bigs running point or power forward, excuse me.
Right.
So I mean, they have their top two centers are out. You know, Rashawn Holmes and Caleb Swanigan, they each average under 10 a game, under 5 rebounds, 5 assists. You know, they're scrubs, right? They have some of their same guys. They have Marvin Bagley running power forward, and they have some of their centers also running power forward.
Right.
So they've got a drought, right, at the big position. You got a guy like Steven Adams. He's not a veteran presence, but he could definitely, you know what I'm saying?
I consider him a veteran. Been in the finals. Played with KD. Played with Westbrook. Played with all those guys.
Yeah, you could make that.
I don't necessarily think he's a leader. I do think.
Well, I'm not saying he has to be a leader. I'm saying he could just have to be kind of like a guy that could
help the team grow.
Be kind of an anchor, right? Be an anchor and just kind of help them progress for the time being. Now, that 4-year contract is the only thing that makes me like kind of step on the brakes, because
that's gonna be a big problem. But
because what kind of a what type of a championship winner are we talking for these guys? Can they get there in the next 5 years? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a very good point you're bringing up.
They got good young talent, but I don't know.
I think he's gonna contribute well everywhere he goes. I don't think he's gonna put up numbers quite like he did on the Thunder, just because of how good him and Westbrook were chemistry wise. Mm-hmm. But if I'm the Kings, you're definitely taking a chance. But I say, hey, why not? You need the guy. You need someone in that position. I mean, you don't want a bad contract, but sometimes it's what you have to do as an organization. You have to take the lesser of two evils.
Right.
And would you rather go into an NBA season with nobody in the center position, or you take a bad contract for a guy that you're going to get a decent amount of minutes and points from, you're going to get veteran presence from? Yeah, I think after you address it, I think I changed my mind. I say, if I'm the Kings, I'm taking Steven Adams.
Could be a good option.
Yeah. They are. The only problem, though, is OKC is asking for a lot in return. They're asking for a young player. They're asking for first-round picks. They're asking for
salary cap relief.
Yeah. So that's ridiculous. They're not going to get rid of him. They're not going to get rid of him if they're asking for that.
I mean, like, you got to look at also who the Kings have that's young. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield.
The Kings not getting rid of any of them.
No, they all need those guys.
They need them, yeah.
Harrison Barnes, they got a good core right now, and their young guys are part of that. Even a key piece to that core. So, I mean, if I'm the Kings, the more you talk about it, the more it's kind of just like, it seems like a 50-50 toss.
It's hard. I mean, I can just only imagine what the Kings management is going through right now.
Especially because you're such an ass franchise in general. You've been pretty ass.
They have so much potential now lined up. It's like, what do you do? How do you not pull a Knicks and mess it up?
You know? The Mets GM is just sitting there like sweating, like, oh, fuck, what do I do, bro? Like, I don't know.
That's a hard one. I can't wait. I mean, we'll probably get an answer before the season begins.
I'm just interested to know when Dwayne Dedmon or Harry Giles III comes back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it like we talked with the Clippers? Are they coming back in time, or like with Clay when he's coming back after the All-Star break?
But like you said, I mean, we're talking about a guy who's putting up 8 points per game.
Yeah, their center position isn't the best.
Yeah.
Power forward Marvin Bagley's pretty talented, but you can't have Marvin Bagley run 2 positions at once.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but I mean, you'd have to have another guy in there, and frankly, I mean, they have Rashawn Holmes as a third option for both power forward and center.
I say, I mean, let's look at the entire starting five. If you're going up against a team of De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Steven Adams, that's a pretty scary sight. That's
a scary sight, right? They're young. They have a little development, but they're all very talented.
I say that team's making the playoffs.
You think they can make the playoffs?
Oh, well, it is in the West.
Well, you got to think also you have to get rid of one of those guys in theory, right?
Well, I'm saying if you put Steven Adams at center.
No, I'm saying if you put Steven Adams at center, OKC said they wanted a young player.
Yeah, they're not going to get that, though.
They're not going to.
There's no one hell they're getting.
Do you think they barter? I mean,
unless they take 2 mediocre bench players.
But I don't think OKC would want that. You understand what you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like they want a key young piece that they could kind of build around with draft picks.
They want De'Aaron Fox.
They want De'Aaron Fox.
So
Fox. You'd have to look at it like kind of Corey Joseph. He's all right. So it would be like Corey Joseph, Buddy Hield, Harrison Barnes, Marvin Bagley, and Steven Adams. You still think that team makes the playoffs?
No, I don't think that OKC is gonna find any results asking for as much as they are.
No, definitely not.
I think that they're gonna end up keeping. They might end up just keeping Adams. I
think they should keep Adams. I don't see why they shouldn't. He's been with the team for a while.
Fan favorite. Yeah.
Fan favorite. He could be to OKC what he could have been if what we were talking about before with the trade. He could be to the to the OKC what he could have been to the Sacramento Kings. That veteran presence.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that because they're going for young guys anyway, and they have Chris Paul too.
I think they should just.
Whether or not
I think they should just ride out his contract.
Right, ride out his
or
contract.
wait till it gets a little bit less. Wait till it's like a two years. And then maybe it'd be more. Maybe then you could get a couple players at it, but there's no way that a team is giving up some young players.
Yeah, no way.
And all that cap space.
Yeah,
that's just not happening.
I like the moves. I like the idea that OKC has. You know what I mean? I don't like the way they're doing it.
Yeah.
Per se, because the way they're doing it is
Yeah.
literally like if you hand, and this might come off as a little insensitive, if you hand a sandwich to a homeless guy and he slaps the sandwich out of your hand,
Yeah.
that's kind of what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
Like beggars can't be choosers.
That's right. That's
you know
a good
what I mean?
point, right.
If you're going to sell them, get either or. Get a draft pick or or a young player.
It's already a burden, the fact that you sign him to a 5-year, 50.
Right.
Yeah,
That's already, you can't be like asking for the entire.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd say, you know what? You've already got a ton of first-round picks. Just get another one. Or get like a pick in the first top 5. I'm sure the Sacramento Kings can have that. At least not top 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
I wouldn't ask for so much. You've already got a lot, too.
Yeah, I think going forward by the end of the 2020s, I think they're going to be in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
I don't see. I'm excited for this because the Thunder have just not had anyone on the trading block for so long, and now we're finally we haven't been able to talk about where Steven Adams should go, where Westbrook should go, and we're finally able to talk about it. I think I'm excited.
I think this is kind of like comparable to the beginning of when they were still the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah.
Moving into OKC, this is comparable to that situation. I'm really personally excited for this possible future. I don't want to say dynasty yet, but if they're drafting,
if they play their cards right, which they have in the
past,
then OKC has nothing to worry about.
I don't think we do, quite frankly.
Right.
I guess we could talk about the 5 Central Division teams going into the 2020 season. That is the Bucks, the Pacers, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I have to look that up. 1 second. But the Central Division going into the season. So I guess we could start off with the Bucks. You give a little bit of your thoughts kind of going in, right?
Yep.
How they're going to do, what kind of situation they are in now, if they make any trades, if they try to contend this year, right? So we can start off with the Bucks.
Yeah, start off with the Bucks because they're probably the best in the division.
Right.
The Bucks, I say, and you disagree. Feel free to disagree with me. The Bucks stay the same, and they continue to invest in Giannis. That's what I say.
Here's the thing, right? I love Giannis.
Right.
Giannis is crazy.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Off the charts. I think he needs another piece. I think they need that. You talk about the theme, it seems, for this podcast. They need that one more guy. That guy that can get them over that slump. Because I will always say this. I don't think Giannis is overrated, but I think he carries.
Yeah.
And he can't carry without a jump shot.
Yeah.
So either Giannis works on his jump shot, works on his free throw, or they have to invest in a guy other than Chris Middleton.
But the thing is, free agency is over. They don't have any pieces to really trade unless you take. Yeah, I guess you could get rid of a couple guys. I mean, I don't even know how they would go about making a move like that at this point.
Let me check out their depth chart. Let's see if they have any, if they have anything to trade. Because I, to your point, I don't think they do. They got Middleton. They got Kyle Korver, but he's really
you're not. No teams begging for Kyle Korver.
Yeah, no. Pat Connaughton. They have both Lopez's.
I mean, you take.
They have Bledsoe.
They definitely want to keep Brook Lopez. I mean, if you take a trade, maybe you say Robin Lopez and Chris Middleton for.
I don't know if you get rid of Chris Middleton.
Well, I mean, if you get rid of Chris Middleton to just upgrade that spot.
Who would you put in there for? Say if you had like.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler. Ooh. Jimmy Butler could work.
In my fantasy NBA world where the Bucks are good, which they are, but
your NBA 2K sim.
In my NBA 2K sim, if I'm running the Bucks, I'm taking Jimmy Butler.
Okay, I could definitely see that. I
mean, obviously, you can put a lot of people in there. You could put Kawhi in there, but I'm thinking realistically, if we're looking at a sidekick for
and
Giannis,
a guy that you could realistically trade for. I mean, Chris Middleton's talented, but
who do they have a point? Bledsoe.
Bledsoe, and then they have running backup George Hill.
Yeah, that's not a bad point.
I think you could get something for George Hill, or Bledsoe. You could definitely get something for Bledsoe.
I mean, you'd have to really replace Bledsoe though.
Yeah,
because he's the main. I mean, you're gonna get less out of George Hill than you are out of Bledsoe.
Yeah, you'd have to. See, it's tough. I think they would need that one more, like that extra piece, but I don't think they're gonna get it. So I'd say right now, barring a crazy,
they have time. Their championship window has just opened.
Right.
They have a good amount of time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they made the finals in the next 3 years.
Yeah. I think
it's incredibly realistic.
I think they should just hold off. Yeah. Thinking about it now, like they should definitely look into that guy, that third piece.
Yep.
With Middleton, Giannis, and
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to acquire someone like that, but right now I agree with you.
If I was Jimmy Butler, I would. I mean, I know he went to the Heat because they said they were going to build around him, which they kind of are already. I mean, not crazy yet, but they're working on it. If I'm Jimmy Butler, I'm thinking about going to I think he fit well on Philly, and I don't see why he couldn't have stayed and they made a finals appearance next year, or the Bucks, or I mean, the Celtics aren't really asking for him, but he could be a good replacement for Jaylen Brown. Like, I don't know why he went to the Heat, unless he just wanted to live in Miami.
Maybe he wants to be that guy.
That's true, yeah.
The face.
I
wouldn't blame him, but Celtics could be a good option for him.
But he's not going to do that. He's not going to be
there's
Dwayne Wade.
There's too many superstars in that.
He's not a Dwayne Wade, He's not.
I bet he wants to fill Dwayne Wade's shoes.
He does love Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. And he understands that he can never be Dwayne Wade.
Yeah. Jimmy Butler's a very good basketball player. I have a lot of admiration for him. He's great on defense. He's a dog. He shows up to the practice facilities at 3:30. Yeah. At 3:30 a.m. Did you see that?
That's ridiculous. Yeah, like
that is great. That is Mamba mentality.
Was that like 6 hours, 30 minutes early?
It's a ridiculous amount of hours early.
Yeah.
And he did it, and that shows. But he's not that guy. He's not a Giannis. He's not a.
What do you even do for 6 hours and 30 minutes? You could lift weights for like 2 or 3.
I don't even think he's lifting weights, bro. I say he's
just getting up shots.
Jump. Yeah. Because that's kind of his weak point is, if you had to take his offense or his defense, I'm taking his defense.
Right.
His offense. He did have very good highlights on Philly last year, though, and his offense is coming up. But, if he's trying to be Dwayne Wade, it's not going to happen.
No. He's definitely a solid predecessor.
And he's in his prime.
Yeah. Up next, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers.
What do you think about the Cleveland Cavaliers?
I think they're, they said they're letting Kevin Love rest for this year.
Yeah. Kevin Love's getting kind of old now, too.
Kevin Love is getting kind of old. They have a couple of good young guys.
I was looking at the Cavaliers. The NBA just posted that picture of they're posting all the pictures of the NBA teams.
Right.
And then one for look at the Kevin, it looks Tristan Thompson, Kevin Love, and then in the middle I just like 3 guys with the same haircut I've never really even heard before.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
There's Sexton, I know Sexton. Yeah.
That's Colin Sexton. That's who I was thinking of. Colin Sexton. You got that one guy.
We'll put this picture up on the video.
It's just kind of like you don't really have.
I don't
anything.
see that. Yeah, I mean, if I'm Cleveland, I say just
sad.
get rid of everyone. I say
At this point you begin a long rebuilding
get
process.
get rid of Kevin Love. Take the first round picks. You need it.
Right. Yeah. No, you definitely need it.
get rid of Tristan Thompson. He can be used somewhere else better than you are using him, and he's worth a couple first round picks. Take the first round picks. Take the young core Sexton. He did disappoint a little bit as a rookie. Still has potential.
He get over that slump.
He doesn't need to be your main guy either.
Right.
You know, we still have, you know, the next draft classes that are coming up are supposed to be like crazy.
Dirty, yeah.
Nice. I mean, what if they landed LaMelo Ball? You know what I'm saying? So,
that'd be crazy. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you just begin that nice long hibernation period. Where
I'm surprised they held on to Kevin Love as long as they did.
I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have kind of been in denial.
Yeah.
You know
that's
what I mean?
they kind of
like,
been in and out of shock because of LeBron James.
Right, because LeBron was kind of like, oh yeah, like we can compete, but like really it was just LeBron carrying a dead body on ice for a while. You know what I mean?
He was there, and then he left and came back, won a chip, left. So I mean,
it's kind of like when you break up with your ex and you're like, kind of seeing her then and again, and you know you don't really think that you're, and then it hits you and you're like, wow, this is really sad.
Right.
That's what the Cleveland Cavaliers are. That period that they're in now, they're eating ice cream on a couch watching Grey's Anatomy right now. They need to get back in the gym, get some first round picks, and then they'll be all right. You know, they'll get a nice 6-pack going in a couple years, and they'll be out in Dayton again.
Back on the market.
Back on the market.
I think their front office is just so bad.
Well,
I mean, it's
their
just
front office for a while was
their
front office for a while was LeBron.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. I mean, like the fact that LeBron even bothered coming back to that city, you know,
is ridiculous.
And I heard some news recently that you know it's surprising that they were able to accomplish what they were just because of how like forced it was. You know, they just threw put jigsaw puzzle this, you know, throw this guy, you know.
That just shows how good LeBron is.
That does show, and you know, LeBron made it seem effortless and seamless. Like we didn't see all those problems, but you know, apparently they were there.
Didn't the general manager come out, or what was it?
Came out. I mean, once the Cavs started falling apart, once Kyrie left, and you know it was obvious that their championship window was closed. Things obviously did start falling apart. J.R. Smith threw that bowl of soup at the manager.
Oh yeah. Yeah, things were
Yeah,
not.
things started falling apart in Cleveland, and they haven't really picked back up.
This is when I think they just gotta lay low for a while, get their ass whooped.
Yeah.
And then just take it and get some draft picks. Tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you come out on top later on.
Yeah.
You got that beach bod.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, whoa.
Whoa.
He looks good.
Who's next?
We got 5 minutes left, so do we want to go over the Pistons, the Pacers, or the Bulls? We can do one.
I'd love to do the Pistons.
That's what I was thinking. Okay, so the Pistons, right? Blake Griffin.
D Rose.
I know they got some. Hold on. Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson, Joe Johnson, ISO Joe.
That's
okay,
right.
So, I forgot about ISO Joe. So ESPN, I was watching a couple of days ago, listed him as a breakout player for this season. He's like 38 years old.
Yeah. He did good in the Big Three.
He did really good in the Big Three. He was
MVP, champion. I mean, that's the man. But the thing is, the Big Three is not the NBA.
It's not.
I don't know. When I heard that they put him on an NBA roster, I was definitely excited because obviously, you know, the nostalgia, like, let's put ISO Joe back on NBA court. But
ISO Joe.
I mean, what they're getting, what the Pistons have is they have a. Imagine if the Pistons had this lineup in 2011, healthy D Rose,
they'd be so good.
Prime Blake Griffin. Prime Andre Drummond, ISO Joe, like 32 years old. I mean, that'd be ridiculous.
The athleticism would be, I don't even want to think about it. That athleticism would be crazy.
Yeah, but now we're looking at an aging Blake Griffin who's transitioning his game.
Aging, also, you could say the same for D Rose.
Oh, D Rose
starting to come around with his game.
D Rose has definitely. But that's not it. When we're talking about D Rose, we're talking about 2011. MVP.
Oh, we're talking about prime. I thought you were talking about like as they are now.
Yeah, no, as they are now. I think D Rose he's good, but he's living in that shadow. You know, This team is gonna be like a slow-paced, older, type of game. They're not gonna do much, and then they're all gonna finish out their careers, and they're gonna have to rebuild.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I think they're an old team, but I think they could possibly get some stuff done. I don't see why they couldn't. They got Langston Galloway running shooting guard. Mikalichuk. I don't know how to say that. They would have Blake Griffin, power forward, and then at center they would have Andre Drummond, right?
Mm-hmm.
They also have Zaza Pachulia, which I keep forgetting about. But I mean,
I don't like
yeah,
Zaza.
Yeah, no, fuck that guy. So I don't know. I think it's all just guys that are like solid at this point, old.
Yeah.
It'd be all right to like watch them once in a while, like if they're playing a real good team.
Yeah, they're playing in the East also, so I'll go out on a limb and say they make the playoffs. I'd say right below the Nets.
What about? Okay, so you got to consider also. I think Orlando. I mean,
Yeah.
Orlando. There's the Nets. Maybe the Nets don't make. I don't know.
I say the Nets make the playoffs. I say Detroit comes in at 7 seed.
It could be.
I say Nets come in at 5 or 6 seed.
To me, the Detroit Pistons seem like a team you kind of just watch. Once in a
Yeah.
while, you're like, oh, it's the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
I know ISO Joe. I know Blake Griffin. I know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all about like big names that are past their prime. That's like the motto of this
It's
team
yeah,
right
it's
now, I
cool
feel
to
like.
watch. It's cool to watch the Pistons because I do love watching Blake Griffin play. I think he's an underrated basketball player actually, just in the way that he's able to develop and he does have some crazy highlights. But I think as far as his ability to continue to develop his game and to grow, branch out, and to do different things on the basketball court, I think he's underrated in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think when he's retired, people are going to remember him for his crazy dunks when he's younger. But that's not, Blake Griffin right now is really come a far way.
Right.
He shoots threes, his handles, got back up. He wants to do work. How do you feel?
I agree. I think, like you said, like both guys. I feel like both Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose kind of. Derrick Rose a little less because he was injured, but they both kind of have come around. They're older. They're not going to really do anything too crazy, but I think it's going to be fun to watch. I was watching Blake Griffin highlights the other day, like talking about nuts and face highlights.
Oh my god,
ridiculous!
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Like Lob City Clippers, like 11-12 Clippers.
It's bizarre that they didn't even make it past like the first round.
Yeah, I remember the manager.
So bizarre.
The general manager came out and he was like, "Yeah, no, it was completely. It was a lot of just star personalities butting heads because it was Chris Paul, Blake Griffin.
Yeah, and Chris Paul does have a pretty big ego.
I don't know. I think I think it's just gonna be like the Twilight team. Twilight of the career.
I don't mind. I wouldn't mind sitting down and watching a Pistons game now that I think about it.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't be that bad. All right, well, that's our time. Hope you guys enjoyed. We had a little problem with the cameras, but I mean, we'll figure out a way to get that shit fixed.
Yeah,
the next one
definitely.
Probably just cut it out. There'll be like a few seconds of
thank you for listening.
Silence. Yeah, thanks for listening.
See you next Friday.
We will see you then.